Oxana, welcome to the show. It is great to have you on.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you for having me.
So I found you on Twitter. It said you are financially independent since 2018. Can you describe some of the steps that got you to financial independence?
Great question. Uh, a lot of layers. So I think to start with, it was having a solid income. A lot of people try to get to financial independence without realizing that you need to have a base. So having a solid income is definitely step one. Step two, I would say that living below your means, because you cannot accumulate wealth or any basically anything if you're spending more than you're bringing in. So really kind of understanding your emotions behind spending and what brings value to you versus what does not, I think is important. But anyways, to make it short, definitely living below your means. And every time your income goes up, try to stay where you were before. And that was basically how it happened to me, that as the income was going up, um, we tried to stay at the same level and all the extras went into investing. And when it comes to investing, there are several things, of course. I've been investing in both real estate and financial markets. And by financial markets, I mean stock market, mainly equities through mutual funds, mostly index funds and ETFs. Later on, I started to play a little bit more about more specific ETFs, more specific mutual funds. But I think the base was just index as broad as you can. And another thing, and I think a lot of people forget to realize that for the past 13 years, both real estate and stock market, they've been going up. So it's kind of hard not to make it if you keep on investing. So yeah.
So if you don't mind sharing, what was like your day job up to that point?
I've been in real estate.
Okay.
So I've
And
been in commercial real estate for over 10 years.
was it as like a real estate agent? Was it?
Right. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was selling and leasing commercial real estate, which was great. And um, I love real estate in general, but commercial was a great fit for me, and I still do it. I am trying to kind of move maybe to some other areas more, but yes. So and leasing, a lot of people do not realize that you can actually make a lot of commission on leasing commercial real estate. So,
Okay. How did you get into that? How were you introduced to that environment?
oh, I was very, very fortunate, and I always give credit to this person. Very early on, I met this woman who is much older than me. She's in her 70s now, and she has been in real estate for a very long time. And I met her because she was our realtor when we were moving like from one state to another state. And then we became friends. That happens often with your realtors. But she was the one who told me go into commercial real estate. And her main point was at that time I still had small kids. So it's like you do not want to run out and show houses all weekends long. Commercial real estate is very structured. It's basically 9 to 5. So yeah, all credit goes to her.
Very cool. On the like psychological, emotional side, since you've reached financial independence, how has your mentality changed, and what do you focus on? You actually recently put out a tweet: "Whatever you focus on will increase. Choose wisely."
Yeah, that's my belief in a way that we cannot focus on everything at the same time. So I believe very firmly in setting intentions. For example, you want to pick a few years ago, I really wanted to build my commercial real estate business, and that was my primarily focus. And I was working hard on getting new clients and promoting myself, and getting deals done. And at that time, I probably was investing less myself in commercial real estate. But times change, and then at a certain point, it's like, oh, okay, well, I have this money that accumulated. Let's see what can be done in terms of investing it in some real estate projects. So for me, it works this way better, really kind of directing my focus on one thing versus another. Of course, you still kind of do things in the background, but yeah, just really kind of laser focus on things and try to achieve them.
And so now that you've reached five, what are you focused in your life?
You I feel there is still like it's great to be in this position, but at the same time, I feel that I'm not done. Like there is still so much that I can do. And at certain point, you realize that work is not just about money, but it is also like your creativity and self-expression and finding new ways to express yourself. And I'm bad at hobbies, so let's put it that way. So I always look for projects to do. Like I would rather buy an investment property and work on it than go and I don't know, like crochet. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just I'm different personality. So
I
I
mean,
still, to answer your question, yes, I still look for projects to do. And normally, if you're interested in something, money comes. So it's great not to have that attachment, but at the same time, I don't mind it. Like, bring it on.
so I guess on that front, can you maybe go give us an example of a deal you're currently working on or some sort of remodel you're doing? Something, give us a flavor of
Mhm.
the day to day now.
I wish there are no projects
Okay.
because everything, in my opinion, and I know it's very controversial, and I look for investment properties all the time, like every day. I check new listings, I check everything. I'm a member of association, so I get access to all that. But at least the market that I'm looking to purchase, which is the Florida market, even though technically I'm in California now, everything is so overpriced. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm all about numbers.
Mhm.
So my project right now is to continue to look. And I wish there was something great that I could jump on and do and remodel. And I've done quite a bit of remodeling. Last my recent two purchases, they were pretty much all ready to go except for some paint. But yeah, no
How,
project right now.
like how many total units are you managing or overseeing right now?
I normally try not to put it online
Okay,
as
okay,
far as like the exact numbers, but I would say it is 2/3 residential and
okay.
1/3 commercial. I would like to add more into commercial, but at the same time, I'm well aware of what is going on with commercial real estate and that we need to be careful with office space. At the same time, I think small office space would do great. I would love to find a project of small warehouse office space. Those are the best, in my opinion, um, things that you can invest right now. And they're very much recession proof if that's the direction that the economy is going. But those are hard to find. It's almost to the point where I understand that you need to build, and that's something that I haven't done yet. So
Okay.
maybe that would be my next project.
Interesting. Are there any I guess specific types of builds you would look to do at catering to any sort of demographic, or do you have anything in mind on that front?
Now, basically what I just mentioned, I think what works the best right now, and I think it is very relevant to any areas. I have a metal building, a large, I don't know, like 8,000 square feet, split it into what we call bays, maybe 1,500 each, and you can combine them in and out. You would need to put firewalls in between, like if you're actually separating the units. But what I have seen done successfully is you put the shell, maybe a couple buildings, 8,000 square feet each, and you start advertising. And then once you get, for example, you get a couple leases that only need 1,500, but then there are a couple that want more than that. So you just combine and you only put firewalls in between the actual like separate units. But those are great. And as I've said, I feel like they're very much recession proof because while people can do office jobs remotely, it's very hard to do a job if you have a bunch of HVAC equipment or plumbing equipment. And people are renting those bays for exotic cars. I mean, the market is honestly like limitless, and they're not very expensive to build out because most of it is a shell, and we do not put heating or cooling in that part of the space. So you only need to build out a small office space where the potential business would put the administrative assistant, and there is going to be a bathroom. So, and those normally like 500 square feet is plenty of office space.
Okay. I guess in your estimation, what would you need to see from the market to then jump in again? Like, would you say like, okay, the market's maybe 20% overpriced? Like at what point would you really start thinking about getting in again?
Um, it's hard to answer in general
Hmm.
because I evaluate every deal, and it has to do obviously with the price of the property, but I also evaluate the potential rents, and I evaluate property insurance and property taxes. And because my properties are in Florida, Florida actually has a huge problem with insurance, and it is getting extremely expensive. So that is definitely going to be a big driver of investors and even property owners, owner occupants to move out of some real estate in Florida because of the insurance. It is getting very expensive and it is also hard to get.
Interesting. I will say I have a condo in Myrtle Beach that we rent out, and our insurance just went up 60% year over year. I could not
Oh
believe
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's honestly, that's the story in
Yeah.
Florida. And it's like every time a renewal comes around, it's like, oh God, what's next? So, and taxes, of course, are going up significantly in
Yeah.
Florida, I guess everywhere because of the cost of real estate. So,
Yeah. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. One thing I think that scare people, or not scare people, but they're just like kind of questioning once they hit 5, what do they do for healthcare? And I did see on Twitter recently, people were posting how they attack this issue. So if you could give us a sense of how hard was it to get insurance once you're not employed?
mhm.
Just talk us through a little bit of the health insurance landscape.
Oh God, insurance is a big thing. It is huge. And there is, it's not hard to get, it's a matter of how much you pay. And it's a ridiculous amount, honestly. And I think I did put it out there that it is currently 2,300 a month
Wow.
for 4 people.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what type of deductible do you have on that?
I don't have much of a deductible, so
Okay. Okay.
that's the reason. Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got you.
Uh, but it is just it's expensive. To get it, I had it in Florida. I have now it in California. So you can find it. It just becomes a matter of cost, and yeah, that's a big thing. And I always, when people ask me about leaving their jobs, it is a big question. Can you afford health insurance?
Well,
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up. I do like asking people at the end, what is the best money advice you've heard and the worst money advice you've heard?
The best money advice I've heard. Oh God, I should have prepared. Now I don't know. Um, it's it's living below your means. That's
Okay.
all it comes down to. Like you cannot, it doesn't matter how much you make. If you cannot get control of your spending, you're never gonna reach anything. And I see it a lot. I through work and also right now the area that I live in, it is very, very wealthy. But at the same time, I know that a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and it is mind blowing. So yeah, having control of your expenses, I think, is probably the best advice. And the worst advice, I don't know. I mean, there is so many. There is so many.
It's okay. So,
Yes, I'm big on calculating everything.
okay.
And a lot of people don't like doing it. But if there is a 20% interest rate on your credit card and you carry it, like, what are you doing? Just, it doesn't matter what kind of investment you have if you carry that debt. So it's all about numbers at the end of the day.
It's all about numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
So Oksana, as we're closing out, is there anywhere that people can go to find out more about you? Anywhere you'd like to direct the listeners?
Thank you, but honestly, nowhere,
Okay.
nowhere, at least yet. I will see where this would take me. As I've said, I've been in real estate, which is very location dependent. So my intention right now is to go more location independent.
Okay. Very
So
cool.
we'll see where it takes me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm sure the listeners will get a lot of value from this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I
Yep.
appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right.